Hello, today we're going to work on lesson 3-4, part 1. There will be 2 parts to this lesson. And the first part is all about school loans. So the whole topic of 3-4 is investing in yourself. And the first part is talking about investing in yourself with school loans. There are 3 basic types of loans that undergraduates might consider. One is federal loans made by the government. One is federal loans made by banks or other lenders, but guaranteed by the government. And the other is private loans. So there's every student's first choice should be the federal loans due to stability. The interest rates are fixed for the life of the loan and are regulated by Congress. So you're unlikely to end up with a nasty surprise somewhere down the line. There are, however, limits on the amount that can be borrowed for one student through federal loan programs, and private loans might be the only alternative for an especially expensive education. Other than the length of the loan, the big difference between student loans and other installment loans is the payments and are typically deferred until graduation, after graduation. So with the government loans, you can usually wait to pay them until you graduate. This makes perfect sense, as in many cases, students aren't working enough to make the money required to keep up with payments. So that's a pretty good deal, but it comes with a catch. In some cases, interest will accumulate on your loan while you're in school, even though you're not making any payments. This can increase the principal balance considerably. The loan term can vary depending on the amount borrowed, but the standard term is 10 years with payments deferred until 6 months after graduation. So here we are, page 3 times. Interest on student loans is simple interest. The interest accrues only on the principal balance, not on previously accrued interest. So while the student is still in school, the amount of interest that accrues each month remains constant. The interest is calculated using the simplified daily interest formula, which we can develop using things we know about simple interest. So if the principal balance of a loan is $6,500, that's P, and the interest rate is 6.8% annually, how much simple interest will accrue in 1 year? So we just want to use interest, so we can use this formula, I equals PRT. So 6,500 times 0.068 times 1 year. So it looks like $442 in interest for 1 year. Why does it make sense to use 365.25 days in a year for fixed calculations, for financial calculations? Because we have leap year every 4 years. So every year we gain a quarter of a day. So using 1 and 2, find the daily amount of interest that accrues on that 6,500. So the $442 divided by the 365.25 days means that each day is $1.21 in interest each day. How much interest accrues in a month? For our purposes, we can use 30.44 for the number of days in a month. This is 365.25 divided by 12. So 121 times 30.44. And so for 1 month, we would have about $36.83. So this is our daily fee, and then they're averaging the number of days to be 30.44 each month. For the $6,500 student loan we've been working with, if you start school in August, graduate in May, so 3 years and 9 months later, and payments begin 6 months after graduation, how many months will pass while interest is accruing? So the 3 years and 9 months later, and payments begin 6 months after graduation. So we have 3 years, which is 36 months, plus 9 months, plus 6 months after graduation. So 51 months. So 51 months. How much total interest accrues before payments begin? So that means 51 months times the 3683. So that means after the 51 months, you will have accrued $1,878.33 in interest before you start paying. Yep. So it says when interest is covered by the government while the borrower is still in school, a student loan is called subsidized. If interest is added to the principal while the borrower is in school, this loan is called unsubsidized. So for the loan in questions 1 through 6, the student would have saved $1,878.33 by acquiring a subsidized loan. When monthly payments begin on a student loan, they're based on the principal balance at that point in time. These payments can be computed using the following formula, which should look familiar. It's exactly the payment formula we stated in 3.3. We just thought would be nice and we copy it here. And the other thing is because student loans are usually a 10-year term, they went ahead and just put a negative 120 there for the number of payments. So it'll always be a negative 120 when we're talking about student loans. So it says, reminder, perform the calculation in one step if you can. If not, don't round too much. Always use at least 4 decimal places. So if we're using decimals, we should be okay. So number 7 says, for the loan in questions 1 through 6, what is the principal amount at the time payments begin? So that means we have our original loan, $6,500, plus the interest, which is $1,878.33. So our principal that we're going to start making payments on is $8,378.33. This is going to be our principal. So it says find the monthly payment on the loan. So our monthly payment is going to be $8,378.33. And they told us that the interest rate was 6.8%. 0.068 divided by 12, 1 minus 1 plus 0.068 divided by 12 to the negative 120. Make sure you're following the formula correctly. So let's go to Desmos and get that payment. So here in Desmos, we're going to put in 8,378.33. Plus 20, and then up here we've got our 60 divided by 12. Okay, so it looks like our payment is $96.42. And this is our lesson check for lesson 3-4. So 96.42 is our lesson check for 3-4. So it says, we've seen that with the student loan, you have the option of not making any payments until after graduation. When interest is on an unsubsidized loan, is not paid during college, we say that the interest is capitalized. So that's what this student did, was they waited to pay their interest till they graduated sometime after. For the student loan, we've been working with, the payment while still in school would simply be the amount of interest that's accruing while which you already calculated. For reference, in the space below, write the amount you'd pay in an average 30-day month, as well as the total amount of interest you pay before regular monthly payments. So the interest we said was $1878.33. So, oops. So we said that our daily interest was going to be $1.21 a day, right? And the total interest you pay before regular monthly payments begin. So we actually pay this in total interest. So it says, with interest not capitalized, the principal balance of the loan will still be $6,500 when the full payments start. Find what those payments will be. How much less is that per month than if interest was capitalized? So we're going to have the same formula up above, except for we only are making payments on the $6,500 because we did our interest payments while we were in school. So let's go to, let's see what that is. And so I can just go here and change this to 6,500 and find out that my payments are 74.80. So 96.42 minus 74.80. So I would be saving 21.62 per month less, because I've already paid my interest. So this would be $74.80 a month instead of the $96.42 a month. And if I subtract them, it means I'm paying $21.62 per month less. So it says, in comparing the loans with or without interest capitalized, certainly would be interested in finding the difference in the total cost of the loan. So let's check it out. So the total cost of the loan is $96.42. So if we do capitalize, right here, it'd be 10 years times 12 monthly payments times 96.42 would be 11,570. And then 10 years times 12 months at the 74.80 would be 8,976. But you have to take this amount and add in down here the interest, because you paid that while you were in school. So you still paid that interest, but you just paid it up front. And so your total cost for paying your interest while you're in school is you're saving $716.07. So if you can afford to pay your $1.21 times 30, so you'd be paying $36.30 a month in interest. If you pay that while you're in college, you would be saving $700 in the end, which is awesome. So that's now the key question when studying whether capitalizing interest is a good idea, discuss with your group. So there's some benefits and not benefits. If you don't have access to be able to pay that little bit of interest every month, that might not be little. If you're not working in college, that might be a lot. So you kind of have to make that decision. So that is the end of the school loan portion. So come back for lesson 3-4 part 2, because we're going to talk about home buying. And I'll see you back in a bit.